Right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Thank you for joining us for another Tribe Transition webinar. Today, we are talking about all things dining at William and Mary. So excited for us to get to that topic today. As a reminder, this session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel shortly. You have two recordings coming your way after this one. So student accounts and dining will be sent to you via email a little bit later this week, but you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified as soon as any of these recordings hit our YouTube channel. As a reminder, please hold your questions until the end of the session. Want to give our presenter plenty of time to go through all of the details that they'll talk about today, and they might just answer your question while they're talking. So let's hold our questions until the end today. Thank you all again for joining us. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my partner in dining here at William & Mary, Adam, who will take us away with a presentation and we'll have Q&A at the end. Adam, thank you so much for being here with us today.
No, thanks, Heather. I certainly appreciate it. Looking forward to connecting with everybody and going through the presentation. Can you see my screen,
I
Heather?
can. Looks good.
Right.
Well, I think, yep, there we go.
There we go. Nope, and welcome everyone. Adam Poling, Director of Dining here for William and Mary Dining with Aramark. I do want to introduce you to my leadership team. Joanne Haviland's our Director of Operations. Jeremy Williams is my Executive Chef and Certified Dietary Manager. And joining the team this summer is Grace. Grace is our registered dietitian. She just completed some turns over there at VCU Health. We're very excited to have her join the team this summer. And that's in addition to over a dozen different culinarians, directors, and operational leaders here to support the program, ultimately the campus community and your students this semester. Things that we work on from an operational standpoint, from a program standpoint, making sure we deliver the best. When we talk about fresh and sustainable, we definitely put some metrics behind that. The last 2 years, we've delivered over $5 million of food from local small women and minority-owned businesses here in the state of Virginia. We make sure that our team has the right tools that they need to serve the team, serve the campus community in the best way possible. That's through Text Concierge, through different marketing initiatives, through on-site support, and a number of events that are gauged around building that sense of community. And that's really all that we do for the students. We want to make sure that that satisfaction and safety is our highest priority, and that we continue to foster that throughout the year and support students as they navigate William and Mary, ultimately moving through all the years here. For us, I always like to highlight the team, things that have happened this past year that we're going to build upon and work towards in the year coming. Rolanda Frazier, one of our True Balance cooks, won a Values in Action Award. Spoken named us one of the top 100 allergen-friendly schools. And we have an A+ rating from PETA for vegan and vegetarian offerings. And one of our third-party partners, Town Center Cold Press, actually won Best in the Peninsula for the coffee shop here in Sadler. The larger picture you see there from our Chick-fil-A location on Richmond Road, guardian of the brand, I think less than 5% of locations achieve that award, and it's less than 3% do it multiple times. This team has done it 3 years running. So very excited for them. Great accomplishment and recognition from the Chick-fil-A brand. A little snapshot of what we've done in the few years that we've been here to continue to move the dining program forward. As we talk about incoming students, certainly the all access, the meal plan benefits that we have here. We have 2 dining halls on campus. We have Commons Dining Hall and we have the Food Hall at Sadler. Both all you care to eat dining, unlimited swipes for those on the all access plan, multiple stations, varying between 10 and 13 stations in each dining hall. We also have dining dollars attached to those so that students can use those at places like the Chick-fil-A that I just mentioned. You can also use them at our local Domino's, the bake shop that's located here in town, as well as the farmers market on Saturdays when it's open. There's an exchange process with that, but students have really grown to take advantage of that on the Saturday mornings when the farmers market is open. Grubhub's our avenue, our processor for those dining dollars and those third-party partners and retail concepts. You can order ahead, you can order on the app, can pick up. It's very convenient, very intuitive for the students as they come on the William and Mary's campus. When you're looking at dining resources, certainly there's a variety of options here on campus. We do want to break that down. You can see the QR codes there for our allergen guide, our halal info sheet. We have a kosher kitchen on campus that we provide not just in retail, but also in residential facilities. The vegetarian information sheet, and then our information around food insecurities. Here to support all the students in every way that we possibly can. When we go through this and we talk about hours of operation, you can see continuous service there is meaning that the moment we open to the moment we close, that all stations, full menu are operational. And it's during those times at Food Hall, Sadler, and as well as the Commons Dining Hall. That's going to operate during those times. Commons having the largest time frame. Sadler, we break it up a little bit just based on their location and traffic flow, and then the other retail locations on there. Some changes that are coming up this year. We have the new Westwoods Dining Hall. There's some imagery there. I had a tour recently, fantastic. And we are very excited about this facility. Initially, there was talk and it was planned for August. It has been moved to January. We want to make sure that we get, obviously, construction done, equipment in, everything finished, time for the team to get in there and train and load in and prepare. But these are renderings, images of what is very near in the future. The Commons Dining Hall will close. Westwoods will open. We will transition a new team into that location. And this is scheduled to be operational in January of 26 when we come back from winter break. Connect with us. Some of the biggest things that we talk about with incoming students and with our campus community is really giving us the feedback we need to continue to evolve the program. Whether that's a question of, are the meatballs today a True Balance gluten-free? Yes, you can text us that question, get an answer in real time. Our average response time last year to a text, which I think we received over 2,000 texts, was less than 2 minutes. So we're working with our managers, our culinarians, our chefs on that texting app to make sure that students get answers in real time. Less than 2 minutes, you can ask questions about that, hours of operation. You can tell us the ketchup's out. You can tell us one thing that you really liked, you'd like to see in heavier rotation. We did that with lasagna last year. Different things like that, feedback, short, quick, instantaneous, so we can better assist the students throughout that process. You can visit us online at dining.wm.edu. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Those menus are all available online through Campus Dish. You can plan ahead. You can sort by allergens. There's a lot of options on there that are hugely beneficial to students as they learn to navigate all the locations on campus. During the year, following us on those channels, you'll be able to keep up to date with fall calendar of events. This is just a snapshot of what's coming for September through December that we've got planned in the dining hall. That picture there was Seafood Night at Commons Dining Hall, one of our highest attended, best rated events. We're certainly going to bring that back this year and do more of those. We've actually been working with some of our culinary ambassadors from Aramark to come back and do more of some of the special events we did this past year. Flavors Without Borders, a collaboration with students. We've got some things planned for our exhibition kitchen, cooking events, all the things that you see there and more coming up in the year to come. Highlights of those events, as you can walk through, you can see things from Charter Day there in the center. With our Senior Vice President of Student Affairs. You can see that Seafood Night again. You can see the blender bike there. We partner with our sustainability interns on things like Farm Fest, Block Party. The bottom left is Yule Log. number of things that we're going to do throughout the semester to really support you, the students, in any way that we can. This, hugely important. I know Heather will share this. We'll share this. There's the social media tags. There is the location, hours, and operational menus. How you contact us, that page, and to sign up for the dining newsletter. It comes out bi-weekly and is hugely important with announcements regarding events, regarding specials that we're running, with menu, with access. If you want to follow along with dining, that's a great way, and it has our contact information in it as well.
All right. Thank you, Adam, for giving us that overview of the dining program and all of the wonderful things happening with the dining program. I know I'm usually the biggest proponent of Grubhub. So if any families take pro tips from Heather today, it's to encourage your student to download Grubhub and become familiar with it. Easiest way to get a quick lunch or quick Chick-fil-A. It's a pro tip since our Chick-fil-A location is so popular. But now we have plenty of time for questions. So families, now is the time to go ahead and submit any questions you have about our dining program. And then we will go ahead and go through as many as we have time for. I know we're going to have a few questions likely about meal plans and accommodations and all of those pieces. So families, now is the time to think of what questions you have and submit those.
Heather,
Okay.
while those questions are rolling in, Chick-fil-A's wrapping up its renovation over the summer, so there'll be a few new menu items coming on board.
Oh,
Um,
that's exciting.
it is. It should be done, and we should be ready to go here pretty soon in August.
Wonderful. I was a little sad that it was closed for renovations, but that usually means that something good is coming. So I've been patient. So excited that all of our new students will get to experience that enhanced Chick-fil-A experience. So okay. Got a question about the meal plans. I'm guessing many families on the call are first year families, so they're going to be asking about that all access meal plan that residential freshmen are enrolled in. One question, swipes are unlimited. What about dining dollars?
Dining dollars for that all access plan works as a debit. So if you go into a retail location and you buy a bottle of water for 219, it subtracts 219. So it's a rolling balance. It's just that declining balance that you see there. There are options to add on if students need more, if you want them to have more. Dining dollars roll from fall to spring, but not past spring. So one academic year.
And to really answer that question, I'm guessing dining dollars could be unlimited if you're willing to load unlimited amounts of dining dollars. They do have an initial starting balance of $400, I believe, is that initial starting balance. So in
Yes.
theory, it could be unlimited, but that's really up to you to load past that 400 once they run out. I will say that's something that I always encourage families to talk with their students about is like whether or not they're budgeting those dining dollars. And really, that's a good financial literacy practice to have, but you can always refill it if they were to run out.
It's at 400 a semester per the plan. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Are first year students required to have a specific meal plan? I think I spoiled the answer, but
Yes, it is the all access plan. It defaults to that. That's what's available as they move into year 3 or 4 and they're on campus. There are other options, and even if you move off campus, there's still options available.
yeah. So freshmen are required to have the all access meal plan and then beyond their first year and that residential sophomore experience as their upperclassmen, residential juniors, seniors, commuters, or in campus apartments, they will have different meal plan options, but they are all going to have that all access plan unless they receive some type of meal plan accommodation. If a student submits a request for a dining accommodation or a meal plan accommodation, how will they know if they've been approved? What does that process look like?
Once that there's the student accessibility services, you submit paperwork through their portal to them. They do an evaluation. They will follow up with you on that. If there's a delay in response or something along those lines, if they reach out to me or Heather, if they reach out to us, we can certainly follow up on their behalf. But really, Student Accessibility Services has been great at getting back in real, not real time, but in a short period of time with those evaluations. It is as we get closer to the semester start, it's a busier time for them, so there's more of a workload, but they have been great at processing that in a timely fashion.
Why would students need dining dollars? Where can dining dollars be used?
Dining dollars are available any one of those retail locations. So if a student wants sushi, instead of going into the dining hall, they certainly have that access in the bento location. If they are looking for some snacks in the convenience store at Student Exchange, take back to their residential hall. If they're looking to order pizza from Domino's to have friends over, sit outside on the patio and eat that way, they can certainly do that. If they are going to the farmer's market to buy some fresh bread, produce, anything, and they're going to have a little potluck cooked dinner in the shared kitchen in the res halls, all options that are on the table. As we move through, as we see that, there's certainly a lot available in both Commons and the food hall at Sadler from an all access standpoint, but it adds variety to the students and to their day-to-day life. If they're walking through ISC and they just want to grab a Starbucks, that's an option.
If families are visiting their student on campus, can they join them in the dining facilities to eat? Is there a cash option at the door?
Yes and yes. If you can convince your student to let you come in with them, absolutely. And there are door rates. And if the student uses their dining dollars, there's special rates, there's discounted rates for that. So yes, and that's all available at the cashier stand. When you come into either one of the dining halls, Miss Jerry or one of the team members will be able to help you there at the front.
What is the
And we
best
welcome
way?
that. We'd like to invite parents in, at the beginning, certainly over family weekend. Anytime you can visit, you're welcome in any one of the locations.
Yeah. What is the best way for students to see dining hall hours?
If you visit the Campus Dish website with some of the view location and hours, I think I still have it up on the screen. That's the best way to view those. It'll show you what's open, when they're open. It'll show you the hours of op. You can also go there and review menus, and then specifically with the dining halls, Commons and Sadler, you can then sort those menus. So if you're looking for a menu that's completely gluten-free or vegan or vegetarian, there's options on there to filter that menu or see the whole menu. Entirely up to you, just based on student preferences or what you're looking for.
Are there takeaway options at the dining halls, and how does that work?
There are. Right now, there are compostable to-go boxes. We equate one to-go box per swipe. So if you come in, you do get one box. If you need two boxes, or if you come back later, we just ask that you swipe again. It's not really a challenge for those with an all-access plan. You can swipe as many times as you like. We are looking at options with business affairs, with auxiliary services on reusable to-go containers and a revamped program of that, just as part of the sustainability initiatives that we've got throughout campus. We've engaged the interns on that, and we're working with William & Mary to make sure we further that process. But right now, if a student needs to, they can come in, ask for a to-go box, fill that up with whatever they want, and walk out.
I've seen a few questions here about can you just share what the all access meal plan is? What's the freshman meal plan? So I'm going to go over that one more time just for everyone. The all access meal plan, and what I'm actually going to do as well is I'm going to drop in the chat the link to meal plan information so that you all can view it at a later date as well. They are automatically enrolled in that all access meal plan, which is going to be unlimited swipes and 400 dining dollars per semester. And there isn't an option, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, to reduce the amount of dining dollars or the amount of swipes unless they go through the accommodation process. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep. That's correct. And we often encourage those students and anyone who has questions about that based on religious or dietary needs to work with us, to ask us. We've been able to support a number of students through different initiatives and really build awareness around what we have. When you look at both dining halls, each one has a station, True Balance, that's void of the top 9 allergens. We also have the Root Station, which is a vegan, vegetarian focused station. We've got chef managers in all of both of those locations during all hours of operation to support students with questions. That's where the text concierge program comes in. That's where we work to make sure that the dietitian, the chef, are available for consultations. They're available for support, both via text, email, and in person. We work with you to make sure that we can accommodate as much as we can and support your student in the best way possible. I would ask that if you have questions or if you have doubts or if there's something on your mind, you feel free to reach out to us and let us work with you and build your awareness around what our capabilities are.
Someone asked a question about what is your selection of fresh fruit and produce like on a daily basis? And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit, Adam, about sourcing of that.
Sourcing primarily, especially in the fall semester, and then as we get into later spring, we use 4Ps. It's a regional supplier, so anything we can buy local, we can. But bananas don't grow locally, and neither do pineapple. So we do use some larger suppliers, broadliners, to bring those items in. But on a daily basis, you've got sliced and cut fruit, melons, berries, in addition to yogurt at the yogurt bar at both facilities. You're going to have whole apples, pears, bananas, oranges in both locations on a daily basis. If you have requests outside of that, if you want to see something, we'd love to hear it. We try to bring in a variety based on seasonality. Strawberries have been up and down for a variety of reasons this past year. As often as we can bring them in and have them by themselves or as part of a berry salad, we do that as well. We offer fruit smoothies, we offer acai bowls on rotation, and a number of different things along those lines to accompany fresh fruit to support students.
And of course, I will tack on there the farmers market, which has the Williamsburg Farmers Market is wonderful. So I always encourage students to take advantage of their ability to go shop at the farmers market. I think one that is so cool. Wish I'd had that back in the day when I was in college. And our local farmers and farms and our farmers market is top notch. So I always see tons of students out at the farmers market shopping for fresh produce. I know it's available in their dining halls, but if they're looking for that more like they go pick it right from the farmer at the farmer's market, they have that option too.
And I mean, and the location, I mean, it's right across from campus. It's very walkable. It's great.
Yeah. It's right there on Dog Street. That's how your student can feel a little bit like a local, as if they're walking through the farmer's market, picking out their produce, and they're using their meal plan to contribute to that, which I think is pretty cool. Okay. Getting into some of the nitty-gritty. So how does a student actually swipe at the dining hall? Is it electronic, on their phone, a physical card? What does it look like when they come in? And then are they truly unlimited swipes? What does unlimited mean?
They are truly unlimited. If you want to walk in 8 times in one day, you absolutely can. You can walk in and grab a coffee, walk out. Come back 10 minutes later and swipe in and grab a banana, walk out. Come back in at lunchtime and grab 3 pieces of pizza to go or eat in. Absolutely. It's truly unlimited from that perspective. There's not a fine print or an asterisk there that says it stops at 30 swipes. It's truly unlimited throughout the semester for the student. It's unlimited from an eat-in standpoint. We do offer to-goes, but that's one swipe per box to go, but not unlimited from that perspective. We do see students utilize that to their advantage. We also see students who want to go to Town Center Cold Press or Column 15 and get that very unique coffee drink that they're used to. And that's where dining dollars would come into play. But it is truly unlimited from that perspective.
I've seen some questions about where can students go on campus to get like pre-packaged snacks, like so not like that fresh food that's coming from a dining hall, like a pre-packaged snack, or are there any options for them if they're late night snacking after midnight?
So after midnight, there are after midnight right now. I think Commons is the one that's open latest from a to midnight standpoint, and really, our dining halls open at 7 a.m. So there's really only 7 hours where there's not a location open on campus. We do have student exchange that has is a convenience store. It's also qualified for those with SNAP benefits, so you can get everything from a carton of eggs there to snacks, granola bars, a loaf of bread, um, toiletries, health and wellness products, a variety of things there. School of Education also has a the new bike coolers that as long as the building's open, they accept dining dollars and you can swipe in and pick out a fresh item and pull that out and be charged just for that item. So those are the locations. The dining halls are open late, Commons till midnight, um, 7 days a week, and some of the other locations are till 10, 11, 12 o'clock as well. Um, I do believe I don't know off the top of my head what Domino's hours are, but I don't know that they're open past midnight. But that's something I can come back to you with, Heather.
What does the holiday break or long break schedules typically look like for residence halls or for dining halls? When are they typically closed versus open, and what is that designation?
We'll put out an hours of operation schedule as we get close to any break. And we work with Res Life to make sure if there's a number of students, student athletes, international students still on campus, that there's options. Over long breaks like summer, right now, we have dining hall open, Sadler's open. It's open during meal periods, so it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner right now, 7 days a week. As we get into some of the other breaks, we may have a smaller number of people on campus. What we'll do then is we'll send an email out with a pre-order. So you can use your dining dollars to order a couple reheat meals that'll sustain you through that break if you're staying on campus. And we coordinate that with Res Life to make sure all students are supported who are staying and living on campus. So over winter break, if they're student athletes, if they're students on campus, we'll coordinate with Res Life, their teams, respective students, organizations to make sure that they're supported and that we don't have a food insecurity issue on campus. So whether we remain open with a location or we offer services to pre-plan ahead of time, there are options for those that are staying on campus.
I am seeing a question here about just another dining dollar question in terms of rollover. So if they don't use all 400 in the fall, will they roll over to the spring? And then will that just keep rolling on? Or at a certain point, will that stop?
So dining dollars roll from fall to spring. They do not roll past spring. So all your dining dollars are required to be used in the academic year that you have them, that you receive them. So fall will roll to spring, but spring will not roll to summer or the following fall. And Domino's, our subcontracted partner, is open till 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. So
Wonderful. Okay. I will say, families, if you're listening in and you're like, she hasn't answered my question yet, we've got 24 questions pending, and I'm kind of bopping around based on what our conversation is looking like. So I'm going to get to as many as I have time for. But just know if you're like, I asked my question minutes ago and she hasn't gotten there yet, that I've got quite a few to get through. So one question that we just got was how can parents monitor dining dollar balances and then add money to it? So, how do they know if their student is running out? And then, how do they give them more money if they need it?
the student account through the Get Mobile app has the ability for parents to monitor that. I do believe you need to be given access by your student for you to be able to monitor that. So um, uh, totally up to you. I think that's a pretty easy give and take that you can monitor it, especially if they're going to ask for more money. But that's up for the individual families. But there is that process. Parents can monitor that and upload as needed. And certainly, if you get throughout the year and you have a question about that, you can always email us and we can send out those instructions to you and support you with that as needed.
Yeah. Along that same vein, how do we pay for the meal plans? Is that something that is added to the tuition bill? Is it sent to parents? And when do you typically expect to see those charges hit those e-statements?
So for me, I don't actually collect the tuition meal plan money directly. William and Mary does. So I believe the portal is open. You are going to default. First year students are going to be defaulted to that all access plan. That should show up on your statement. I'm not 100% sure. I then bill William and Mary, so I don't bill parents directly. So I'm not as familiar with that process intimately. Are you, Heather?
Yeah, from my experience, typically what it's going to look like is, families you will have received likely this week. If you haven't already, it's coming in the next few days. Your first e-statement, of course, that's going to go to your student if they haven't added you as an authorized user in e-services. So questions to be asking this week and next is whether or not they've received their first e-statement if they haven't added you as an authorized user. This first e-statement may not have their meal plan on it, and it may not have everything on the actual e-statement, which is why on your Tribe Guide checklist, you'll see that you will have updated e-statements with that final tuition bill being due on August 1st or an installment plan needed to be set up by August 1st. By that August 1st date and time, you will see your full charges, including housing and dining. So that meal plan will be added on there typically at that point. But it will be on that one all-encompassing, lovely e-statement that will have all of your students' charges for the most part. Okay. Someone's asked, a lot of the residence halls have kitchens. Are students able to take away ingredients if they wish to prep their own meal, or are there any other creative ways that you've seen students use resources from dining to potentially make their own meals in their residence halls?
I absolutely, and we do see that, and whether that's you know sometimes with students we get different perspectives on what creating a meal is, right? If that's just taking some chicken breast from lunch and as your to-go option, and then repurposing that in a dish that you've made some rice and you've made a bowl now, or taking a salad with you and cooking some of those components with those. Um, that is possible. We are not able to give out any raw proteins or anything from behind the line, uncooked, any items like that. But those types of items are available in the convenience store where your dining dollars can be utilized. And then I think Heather mentioned it. We've mentioned it. The farmers market is also a great place as well. So between the convenience store, between the dining hall, between the farmers market, if they have a list of ingredients, they have items that they're looking for, and they want to do that communal meal or cook for themselves in one of those shared kitchens, that's certainly an option for them.
And then I did see a couple questions about the farmers market. I think I got people a little excited when I mentioned it. They clued back in. So can you walk us through again just the process for how students can take advantage of the farmers market?
The farmers market every Saturday morning through most of fall and then late spring. You can go down there. There's a kiosk at the beginning of the farmers market. Generally, it's one of our sustainability interns and or our sustainability manager. They've got a reader there from Grubhub. You order a certain amount of dollars, and they give you a token that can go redeemed at any vendor at the farmers market. So then you can go buy that fresh produce. You can buy that loaf of sourdough. You can buy cheese there. Whatever that item is from the farmers market, it can be purchased with those tokens that you got at the kiosk at the beginning of the farmers market. Those tokens, if you don't spend them all that day, they're valid for the remainder of the year. Yearly, since dining dollars roll from fall to spring, but not past spring, those tokens change. Same as dining dollars. We just ask that you use them and spend them in that year for the year.
Okay. I have a question here. My daughter is super healthy with regards to organic meats, dairy, and fruit, which I see you had mentioned, but also with regard to preparation of foods, no seed oils, etc. Will there be options for her, and how does she work with dining staff to identify what those options are?
Absolutely. And I think it's imperative for anybody that's following that, whether that's a preference or a need or restriction, to connect with our executive chef, Jeremy, who's a certified dietary manager, our registered dietitian, Grace, at the beginning. And then we can assist them with knowing where we're doing those types of items, when we're doing those, and if there's a specific allergen or item with that, them also knowing that. Our chefs will support those students with that knowledge, but also with when and where they're cooking that. And with that, we try to make sure that they have all the knowledge they need to be successful in navigating the dining halls. But that's where that text concierge piece, that texting comes in. If they're at a station, if there's a question, if they change their schedule and said, you know what, I want to eat at Sadler instead of Commons, and this is different, and I have a question, you can ask that in real time. Did this station at this day, chef, did they use the seed oil? Did they not? Did they use something else? We can answer that in real time. We monitor that as a leadership team of over a dozen and a half people to monitor that app to make sure students are getting accurate information in real time. So there are ways to do that. I would encourage you to let your student know of our contact information so we can set up that consultation during orientation. We can talk to them early in the process, and then they're comfortable with that and knowing us and who we are as they move in into the fall semester. So that way they can focus on academics and social life and not have to worry about some of those details around food.
Yeah. Okay. One question here that I think will answer a larger question. During celebrations/special dining events, are accommodations made to include students with nut allergies?
So both dining halls are nut free. We do not have nuts in either one of the dining halls. So our themed events in those locations, our pieces along those lines, we don't have nuts. When we do themed events, special events outside the dining hall, and for larger events, things like Yule Log, the block party, we do not utilize nuts. When you come into the dining hall, if you want to make a peanut butter and jelly, you can't have peanut butter, but you can have sun butter. So there's some alternatives there, not just us being nut free. If your student has specific needs or other allergens and they're attending one of those special events, again, I'd have them email or text so we can be prepared. If it's something that we can do, we certainly will. We want them to celebrate along with everybody else.
Yeah, and families, as you come to campus and start to experience campus for the first time, you'll even see, like at things like family orientation and family weekend, we will always clearly label all of our foods, so that you know what you're ingesting, whether we have gluten-free, vegan options, even our catering, our 1693 catering, which you will interact with most frequently, is really great about providing, different options for our special dietary needs, and we work very closely with the catering team to ensure that. And I think that's a reflection of the overall dining program as well. So one question I did have, someone asked a question, my student has a food allergy. How do they know daily what to stay away from? On that same vein, I'm curious if you can give some guidance around when does an allergy become something that they need to register through student accessibility services so that you all are aware of that actual allergy versus like a special dietary need that maybe they can take advantage of, like True Balance, for example?
And for students with allergens with preferences, I think looking at the menu for Commons and Sadler, seeing that in whole, filtering it based on your preferences, your allergens. If you've got a severe one, we certainly encourage you to talk to chef, talk to the chef managers, talk to our registered dietitian. They'll help you navigate that and talk about True Balance. We'll talk about Root, where it's vegan, vegetarian. We'll tell you what oils we're using, even to the point to where if you text us and say, "Hey, I want to eat this. Can I see the label of a composed item?" Liquid egg when we're using our omelet station. We can send that to you. We have that. We want to be as transparent as possible as it comes to all those menus and those items. For us, anytime you have a specific allergen, if you want to talk to student accessibility services, you're more than welcome to. For us, those students that have accommodations are allergens are pieces that are above and beyond what we can safely supply food to students for. Those those do exist out there. We don't have, endless supplies of kitchen for unique circumstances. So those circumstances do exist. If you want to talk about those to see if that's possible, I'd encourage you to talk to myself, Jeremy, Grace, as well as Student Accessibility Services. One thing that we find, though, is that most of those we are able to accommodate. And then it allows the student to continue with the social experience that they have in the dining hall, in retail, with friends. A unique piece that we do here is with the texting program. Students who qualify after meeting with us for special pre-order meals, we do set up with their own line so that they can text us. And then the student can let me know, let Chef know, let Grace know, hey, it's me, Adam. I'm on my way to Commons Dining Hall, and I'd like to have the chicken today at the entree station. We know from our prior conversation that I'm allergic to salt, pepper, seed oil, gluten, whatever those items are. So chef will prepare that chicken separately and safely behind the line. And then a student, when I arrive, my meal is boxed up separately and safe by one of our culinary leaders for that student. And we've done that for 2 years now with great success. The piece that I think is even as impactful as that, as eating safely, a student who then walks in, gets chef, gets their meal, doesn't have to wait. You don't have to wait and find chef and then ask for it and wait for them to make it. So it's pre-ordered on the way. It's also then allowing that student to eat in real time with their friends who accompanied them, who then picked up their food, is now sitting down at the table. They're not still waiting for chef to finish making that unique item. So the social aspect of it has been hugely impactful for students as well. Over the course of the year, 2 years, we've seen great success with that. I've got a number of students who have been with us going into their third year with the program, who we talk with on a daily basis. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, weekends, late night. We have culinarians on campus, and we're supporting that program.
Wonderful. Okay, two questions related to really exciting times, move-in and orientation. One, when do those meal plans become active? Is it move-in day? And how will students get oriented to the dining halls? Is that something that, will they be eating in the dining halls during orientation?
Yes, orientation. You'll be broken up in your orientation groups. They go through the dining halls. It's a little bit different in that you're moving through with groups and not necessarily on your own and on flow, but you do get to experience the dining halls and you do get to see everything. You get to see Sadler and Commons, and you get feedback from your orientation leaders and such. Meal plans start when students come back for orientation. Those first year students, I believe it's the 21st of August. That's when those plans become active, and they're active then through the semester for students.
Yeah. So, and on that first day, move-in day, there will actually be orientation aides and resident assistants who are ready to take your students to dinner that night, at the dining halls if your student would like to attend dinner. And so really from the first moment, their upperclassmen will be leading them and showing them, through that peer-to-peer engagement of how the dining hall systems work. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to see. Seen a lot of questions that we answered earlier, so just a reminder that this was recorded. We covered a lot on the front end, so you may want to hop back in and watch that recording once it's available. I do have a couple of fun questions. What are your favorite meals regularly offered at the dining hall? And are there different types of food, like Indian food, Mexican food, vegetarian options? Or is it just like your standard dining hall fare all day, every day?
It is not standard every day, all day. We do have some standard things that students want all the time, whether that's chicken nuggets or cheese pizza, or mac and cheese. But we do have a robust salad bar, and deli station on a regular basis. All the entree stations rotate. Our root station, which is vegan, is exciting in that to see the number of different ways we can do things with vegetables throughout and other items. Some of my favorite is the rotating smoothie station. It's actually non-dairy over at Commons. So that True Balance station rotates that with acai and different things. So that's exciting and it's refreshing, especially as it's been warm out. It'll be warm in the fall when students come back. When we looked at theme events and we do some special station takeovers. So Spice Palace has a food truck, Curry in a Hurry. So they're on campus on a regular basis. You can use your dining dollars at the food trucks that are on campus. And Vivi's Burritos both do station takeovers for us inside the dining halls. So periodically we'll bring in a local partner like them. We'll give them one of the stations, and then it's a special blowout for students that are coming in. Another reason you should follow the newsletter and social media.
Yeah. I love popping on Grubhub for the day if I'm not checking Instagram to see what food trucks are around, to see if Ama's is here or Ben and Jerry's. That's always really exciting when that one pops on. So and that's another plug for Grubhub because students can also see what food trucks are around that they can order from and use their dining dollars at, which I think is a really unique facet of our dining program. One, that you have local restaurateurs who are taking over the dining hall, or at least stations in the dining hall, and offering that experience to students. And the food trucks, which families will get to experience. We'll have food trucks on move-in day. We'll have food trucks at family weekend, and all of those are going to be Grubhub enabled. So that's something, if you wanted your student to treat you to lunch one day, technically they would be able to do if they were so willing. But I think that's a really unique facet of our dining program. There's always something fun and interesting happening. I think even speaking from a staff perspective, we always love seeing what the schedule is going to be. Like if there was one day that like everything in the dining hall was waffles, like it was incredible to see the many ways that waffles could be used in meals. Um, and then, of course, our Student Center for Inclusive Excellence always works really closely with dining to do those identity-based days and that real exploration of culture through food, which is really popular days and really good food. So I feel like there's always something new happening in the dining halls, and it's always an exciting opportunity. But at the same time, like when I really need a chicken nugget and a French fry, I also know that I can probably get that. So I think there's a little bit of everything for students as well. Okay, I am seeing a couple questions about one special population that I want to talk about a little bit before we wrap up is our student athletes. So they have a very hectic schedule. They need really specific nutrition. How do you work with our student athletes? And what is their experience like in the dining halls typically?
We have that certainly the menus online with the nutritional information. So based on whether they're carb loading or whether they're looking for calories or they're looking for something lighter and healthier, they can sort through that. We also have Grace, our registered dietitian, who will meet with students, student athletes, and work with teams and groups. We'll offer that service again this year. So any team that wants to partake in that, wants Grace to come, Jeremy to come, talk about the healthy options, the options that students have. If there's specific needs that they're looking for, we ask that they communicate that with us. Coach talks to us. We do our best to accommodate them within the dining hall, within the existing menu, but certainly want to do everything we can to support them. So Grace is here as a resource to them as individuals and them as a team, as well as Jeremy. And both dining halls are, or Commons, which is closest to Kaplan, where that generally that community is open 7 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week with a full menu. So that's full salad bar, everything from pizza to the acai and smoothie station, down to the grill in the back. So everything that you could want is available during that time frame. Again, if students are looking for something more outside of that, work with coach, work with our team, and we'll do our best to accommodate those.
Okay. Do you offer any halal options in the dining halls?
So all the chicken outside of chicken nuggets is halal. And comes from a halal certified purveyor, and we can provide that certification. And we do have that, I think, posted in the dining halls, but we can provide that certification as well. So outside of chicken nuggets, all the halal from the salad bar to the grill is halal chicken.
Okay. All right. Is there any financial benefit to using dining dollars versus a student using a credit or a debit card?
It's mostly built around convenience. When we do a reload, at times there'll be specials for that. Get $110 for $100 or 90 for $90 for $100. Generally, it's convenience that's all on there. We work to make sure that we keep it as fiscally responsible as we can for dollar for that. So there is that from a convenience standpoint, and you can upload it anytime.
Okay. All right. I know we still have questions that have been unanswered. So my last true logistic nuts and bolts question is if they have questions, where should they reach out?
If you'd like, there's the contact us page. Dining at WNM.edu is a great email to reach us at. I share my email and phone number with all students and parents. So, I will respond to that. You'll have direct contact information. We'll get Chef involved if we need to, and Grace if it's a dietary question. Operational questions, nuts and bolts, like you said. I'm happy to walk through what those logistics look like. We're here to support you and your student. The more knowledge you have, oftentimes we know that you're the first stop they come back to. So that way you can give them that answer or at least know where to point them to get the answer themselves um, if that's your choice. We want students to be a self-advocate. If they talk to us, tell us what they need, tell us what they want. I often compare it to my own life. If the family just tells me what they want for dinner, that's what I'll make. So tell us what you need, tell us what the students want. We'll work to deliver that and work with them to make sure that they're as accommodated and as comfortable as they can.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to my last question for you, Adam, which is as families are working with their students maybe who are going to be in dining halls and really like responsible for feeding themselves, maybe for the first time completely independently of family and getting to the dining halls and on a schedule and maybe aren't accustomed to advocating for themselves in terms of maybe they don't see something they need or they're not sure what questions to ask. How can families support students as they navigate that growing sense of independence and self-advocacy?
If a parent wants to make that introduction via text, via email, with me, with our team, happy to do so. Happy to have a collaborative conversation. If that's a text, if that's a phone call, if that's a conference call like this, if it's in person, we'd love to have that. Depending on the student and the circumstances, us being able to talk to them directly, we're often able to resolve it fairly easily and quickly. But text is great, and that includes my cell phone, that includes Chef's cell phone, that includes the team. We want to break that ice. And I think that's one of the things that we try to do during orientation is for my entire team and myself to be very visible. We don't want to be an unfamiliar face. They're going to see us in the dining halls, and we want them to feel comfortable when talking to us via text, email, in person. We've had great experiences. And a lot of the innovation and changes that we've made over the course of 2 years is because of that student feedback. So if your student's having a concern or a question or a piece, it's probably a few other ones that are having the same issue. We want to resolve that for all of them. It helps us set trends, plan for the future, and stay on top of the needs for the students. So the best thing if they could talk to a chef, talk to a Golden Apron, talk to me, text, email, whatever that is. They could DM us on Instagram if you'd like. Whatever that is, we're happy to talk to them. We're here at the end of the day, we're here for students. I mean, that's our sole purpose.
Yep. I will say once upon a time when I was going to get my Friday chicken nuggets, there was no barbecue sauce, there was no ketchup, and I said, Adam, where is the barbecue sauce? Where is the ketchup? And then it magically appeared. But I can say that recognizing that I am a grown adult and I have had lived experiences that allow me to easily say I need some sauce with this chicken nugget. So while that may be a silly example, put yourself in the shoes of your student and how do you best prepare them to even just raise their hand and ask those questions, like the little things that make their dining experience truly a great dining experience. Are they prepared to approach somebody and ask those questions and get a quick resolution right there in the dining hall? So, Adam, thanks for spending time with us today, giving us an overview of the dining program. It's always a pleasure. Families, thank you for joining us. This session was recorded and will be uploaded shortly. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day wherever you are. Thanks for joining, and goodbye, everybody.